Damn, I should have kept it on it. Damn, I should have kept it on it. So there's 3.
Mushy face.
See how they have those barrels on them on the front? Look at that bastard go. Whew. Wow. But see, is that 4? Or maybe it's 2, but they're like way thicker than the one right next to it.
I was thinking.
And look at this one goes all the way across the sky. And there's one right above my head too.
Oh my God.
Look, so there's 3 of them. They're lining it up. You can see that. Wow. I hear them coming. See my shadow. Yeah, I guess this is a contrail. A contrail that just never dissipates. Yeah, look at it now. It's spreading apart, just getting bigger, and then there's another one. Actually, there's 2 that are about to meet. Oh, it's just nasty. Wow. Look at this. Jeez. This is just outrageous. Look at the sun. This is an X. Here's another one right above my head. They're everywhere. Damn. This is brutal. What the hell is that supposed to be? Yuck. This is so gross. Bastards. What a mess. Disgusting. Ugh. And right as I'm recording this, you can see a chem plane flying in all this muck, spraying another chemtrail. Oh God. Oh, that is so nasty. Freaking sky is contaminated. Oh, it's disgusting. Wow. They're snuffing out the sun. Oh, there's a chembo. Yep, I got the chembo. Creeped out chemtrails straight from the pits of hell. There's the chembo. Clear as day. Chemtrail. Chemtrail. Do you know what a chembo is?
Yeah, I've seen them before. I got a picture of one actually.
Yep. The sun is hurting my eyes, but there's a chembo right there. I hope I got it. I can't.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there with the video. It's just amazing. I want to welcome everybody to the show. to 3 Minutes to Midnight. My name is Lori Alexander, and I'm here with my special co-host today, Factions of Freedom, and our guest today. Is activist, truther, YouTube's own MadisonStar Moon. Welcome to the show, Madison.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming. I'm sitting here in awe at watching your video, because this is something that is so real and so, I mean, in our faces, and yet people are still denying that this is happening. And it's just,
it's insane.
It is, it's insanity. If you would tell us, just give us a little bit of background. What got you started in what you're doing? And let's, just introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, sure. My name is Amanda Bays, but I'm better known as MadisonStar Moon online. There is a bit of an echo. I don't know what that's from. I'm hearing what I'm saying.
Do you have the show up in the background?
You want me to take it down? I don't have any volume on anything, but I'll just go ahead and X out of everything,
Okay.
like Facebook, everything.
Okay.
I'm just gonna turn my computer off.
We don't hear an echo. Just for the record, we do not hear an echo. So.
A little bit of a lag, but no echo.
So, anywho, yeah, my name is MadisonStar Moon. I've been a chemtrail activist for 5 years. I discovered chemtrails on my own. I did it kind of like the reverse way of how it usually happens to people. Usually people will go online, hear about chemtrails, and then go out and look up, and then they find out about it. Mine was the other way around. I was real big into UFOs and extraterrestrials and, that type of thing. And so I was always looking up in the sky. And one day I just saw some planes, making a grid. And I was shocked. I was like, what is that? And in my mind, my delusional mind, I'm hearing that echo again, guys.
How's that?
Saying, it's repeating back what I say. And I don't have anything up. That's so frustrating. Okay, went away again.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so anywho, I saw the grid. I thought it was aliens, doing something in the sky, because I was delusional and I was a sheep at that point. So I started calling, these different agencies on my own. I went in the yellow pages and just went down the list. And when I found that I couldn't get any answers, that people were just slighting me and not, I was getting the runaround, I got suspicious. So I was like, wait a second, something's going on. One of my friends suggested, why don't you go ahead and make a Facebook page and see if there's other people that might, be into this as well. So I made my Facebook page. I was posting a lot of alien stuff, again, delusional. And then I started posting chemtrail stuff. Nobody was paying any attention to me. They were making fun of me and all this stuff. And then one day I ran across Clifford Carnicom's aerosol crime. And that was the video that woke me up. That was the original video where I finally saw someone speaking about what I had seen and putting it into a logical sense that was factual and scientific that I could understand. And that opened up Pandora's box, and I just went from there. I started off on a little radio show that my friend had, and I was going on there, and our premise of me being the guest was that I would come on and make these calls to the EPA, FAA, DEQ, asking them about chemtrails. And finally, after about a year of that, I just went solo and then did my own radio show. And that's what I've been doing since then. I mean, this is going on 5 years of me calling the feds and every type of authority figure you could think of, trying to report crimes against humanity. You can't even get a report in. I mean, it's shocking to say the least. It's very disturbing to know that, I called the sheriff last week, okay? I told them, I didn't get to speak to him, but I told his secretary, I'm calling to report crimes against humanity, environmental crimes, pollution crimes. He never called me back. That in itself is a crime. It's called omission, failure to act. When we're trying to report crimes or even suspicions of crime, I know you guys have probably seen those signs that are up that says, if you see something, say something.
See something,
or
say
something. Like that. It's a little,
Yeah, absolutely. If you see something, say something. Department of Homeland Security. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, the DHS. Right. Well, I see something and say something every day. No one does a damn thing. They don't care. They're covering it up.
Right.
I have exposed this. And me, not just me and millions of other people have been calling these people. I personally know an entire group of individuals that have worked tirelessly to to get this issue, addressed by the government, and they won't address it. So it's not just suspicious; it's obvious that they're in on it.
Right. Right.
Well, it's funny that you would kind of start out from UFOs and stuff like that, because that's kind of where I came from. Is that whole UFO alien abduction phenomena, kind of investigating all that to kind of work backwards, back engineer all this other crazy stuff that's going on, like the chemtrails, the genetic modification, the geoengineering, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And I'm not saying, I want to make sure everybody knows, I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in all kinds of stuff. But I also believe that probably about 75% of the UFOs I've witnessed are actually secret military weapons, secret military aircraft. I mean, I've seen aircraft disappear right in front of my face. I mean, I have witnesses to this. I've actually called the police on UFOs, but I live right next to a military base. I live in Virginia Beach. It is the largest military base in the entire country. So we see, we have all this crazy stuff. I live right across the street from the HARP station, so of course I'm going to be seeing these things, but back then, I just could not fathom that it was the government. I don't know how I could have been so, asleep. But once you wake up to everything, the false flags and the Agenda 21 and the whole 9 yards. I don't know how it came to you guys, but it kind of, it started off with the chemtrails, then it was the false flags, and then it was just the entire agenda. It all comes into place, and you're like, you realize you've been being lied to your entire life.
Yeah, there's really no way that you can go down this rabbit hole and not see A connects to B connects to C connects to D. It all comes together, and once you are awake, you cannot unsee what you have seen. Unfortunately, I've tried, believe me.
Yeah, you'd like to have a day off and just be, blissfully ignorant for a day and enjoy your day, listen to some music, post some pictures of a kitten, or something like that. No.
Yeah.
Like now,
you got to try to pull yourself away from it because it's so hard.
On my Facebook page to post anything personal. It has to be, this is genocide. These are death towers. You just have to pound away at the public, because we are the last line of defense. There's no questioning that anymore. We have the military is not backing us, government, politicians, federal agencies that are set up to protect us are guilty of being in on it. The EPA is the biggest cover-up agency I've ever dealt with. I testified on August 11th. I testified with some other people about, chemtrails, geoengineering, and different stuff. They never even contacted us back. I mean, this was a formal hearing. Why didn't I get a letter stating, at least thank you for speaking and saying we're going to get back to you on this? No, they just continued to do what I was telling them that they were doing at the hearing, which is ignoring our formally filed complaint. That is a crime. I have had plenty of time to research this, and I know for a fact in the Constitution, police can act on common law. They're not doing it. The federal agencies are all guilty and corrupt, and at some point, we're going to have to hold these people accountable. I try my hardest, being like a big loudmouth about the issue, because that's my biggest weapon is my voice. So I use it to my fullest, power, and I just want everybody else to do the same thing. Don't be afraid. So many people are afraid they're going to get in trouble. They're going to get arrested. So what? I mean, seriously, you're going to die if you don't say something. If someone arrests you for speaking the truth, I mean, how much time are you really going to do? Think about it. Unless you're actually committing crimes, you're not going to get in trouble. I've had the FBI interrogate me in my home simply for taking pictures and trying to get FOIA requests on some antennas at the courthouse. It's in public view. I pass by the courthouse every day when I go to work. There's this huge microwave tower. It's radiating everybody that goes in and out of there.
Right.
Okay, so that it's the courthouse. There's going to be hundreds of people going in and out of there every day. So what happens when I try to go get FOIA requests on the antennas? The FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force investigates me, but I'm not arrested. I'm still here saying the same thing, doing the same thing I was doing 5 years ago, which is sad.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, all of us that are awake and we see this and we start speaking out, we're considered the enemy. The government's not the enemy. The pilots that are spraying us aren't the enemy. The agencies covering it up and the people covering up, they aren't the enemy. But those of us that are exposing it, those of us that are talking about it, we end up being the enemy.
Yep, the citizen journalists.
Right. Exactly.
Can you share my screen real quick, Lori? I have something I want to show you guys right quick.
Give me a second here.
It's from it's from a newspaper. I'm not sure which one, but it looks like it's taking place in Los Angeles, and the publication date is February 3rd of 2016. And it says, "Notice of intent: the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Works hereby gives notice of intention to conduct a weather modification program." And then it says, it goes on to say that the nature and purpose is the County of Los Angeles will implement a weather modification project to increase precipitation in the San Gabriel Mountains. Ground-based equipment will be used to disperse silver iodide particles into suitable storm clouds. Criteria have been developed for both initiating and suspending weather modification activities. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors has approved the project and adopted the mitigated negative declaration. So it's like whenever these guys are coming out, putting out kind of soft disclosure.
There are many, many problems with that. Number one, first of all, they don't have our consent. Number two, it's ground-based. We're not talking about ground-based chuckleheads. We're talking about the planes that we're all witnessing spraying out their garbage. And then the third thing is, you know, if they're really doing this to bring precipitation, they're failing. You know, California is in a major drought. They droughted it out intentionally. Chemtrails caused drought. You know, this is just insane. That they're pretending to help us in some way.
So let me ask you. I guess. You know, I can't imagine anybody not knowing what chemtrails are. But let me just ask you, what are chemtrails and what are their purpose? We'll start with the easy questions. We'll start with the easy questions first.
Yeah. I mean, to me, honestly, I cannot definitively state accurately what a chemtrail is comprised of. I know what many different researchers have found, you know, aluminum, strontium, barium, geoengineering patents, and all kinds of stuff like that. But in my personal opinion, just from what I've witnessed, and a massive cover-up, I believe it's a depopulation agenda, genocide. I believe they're spraying all different kinds of stuff for all different kinds of reasons. I don't believe there's like one chemtrail that is a standard chemtrail. They all do different things in the atmosphere. You see the long chemtrails, the ones that drift down, the ones that create chem clouds, and all this. You know, I believe the chem clouds, when we see those scalar ripples through the chem clouds, I think it's from the Death Tower frequencies being pumped up through the artificial clouds. You know, and it's causing that reaction, also with that HARP and everything else. I do believe it's weather warfare. I mean, you could just, me and my friend stayed up one night talking about all the different things that we thought it could be, you know, and I have another theory. Here's way outside the box, and this is just for anybody who thinks outside the box. Well, what's to say that they're not just dumping industrial waste into the sky to get rid of it? You know, they've run out of ocean to destroy. Pacific is totally ruined for Fukushima. They can't really bury too much more waste. They're burying nuclear waste all over everywhere with no way of knowing what it's possibly going to do 100 years from now. You know, so maybe they just run out of room destroying the Earth. So they're like, well, if we go up high enough and dump it up there. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I could just go on and on with different theories. I like the coal ash theory. You know, I thought that was a good one. You know, I mean, there's all different types of theories. I know it's nefarious. I know it's against our will. They don't have our consent to spray anything. So whatever they're doing is illegal.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You know, I was a part of Rents did. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Rents did a. Hold on just a second for me, guys. Rents did a study back in 2008, I believe it was. I lived out in Phoenix at the time, and I was a independent reporter. Got involved with a few people looking at the chemtrails, and did I not save it? Looking at the chemtrails, and we did a independent air quality test.
Right.
And the results were just unbelievable. Let me just show you guys. What we did is we went away from the city, because the city of Phoenix is constantly
Constantly bombarded with sprays.
Constantly under a, we call it the brown turd. Okay, it's the pollution. So what we did is we went out into a place known as Apache Junction, and we did this independent air quality test.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was, like I said, we did the air quality, and I want to show you guys the results of it. You can see here the data collection method. The air was sampled through an air filter, which operated approximately 4 hours during the day and 4 hours after sunset for 28 days. The method used by the test laboratory was defined as ICP scan inorganic analysis. So I'll put the link up in the room for you guys, but I want you to see something here. Barium was at 278 times the toxic limit.
Mm-hmm.
Copper was at 98 times the toxic limit. Manganese was at a staggering 5,820 times the toxic limit. Zinc was at Zinc was at 593 times the toxic limit. I get chills when I read these numbers, guys. Cadmium, 126 times the toxic limit. Chromium, 282 times the toxic limit. Nickel, 169 times the toxic limit. Now check this one out, guys. Aluminum, 6,400 times the toxic limit. Iron, 28,000 times the toxic limit. Potassium, 793 times the toxic limit. They are poisoning us. They are killing us. And the government is the ones that are doing it. The government is committing basically genocide.
Yeah, omnicide. Genocide. That's what it is.
Yes.
Terraforming is the only word that I can think of whenever we start looking at all these facts. Because I mean, what's the point of spraying all these metals and all these chemicals in the air? I mean, it clearly isn't to the advantage of humans. These people are trying to terraform the planet.
That is amazing research, Lori. Like, that is completely riveting information. Where did you bring this information forward to me? I'm echoing again. Damn you, not you. That's the system. Okay. Did you bring forth that information to anybody?
We did. We took it to our local, the local government there in Phoenix. We took it to the airport. Actually has the air quality center there. We took it to them, and they told us they would look into it, and we never heard from them again.
Of course not.
You have literal scientific evidence proving these facts. You know, I brought forth a little hair sample test where my friend had been poisoned. I presented it to the EPA. They never said a word. Never got a response back. They know they're poisoning us, but your lab results, I mean, your air quality results are simply amazing.
Yeah.
I would love, while you were reading that off, I would like to just have a recording of you saying all of those again and make a video of it.
Okay.
I mean, that is shocking.
Yeah, I'll get with
People don't know this.
Here's another thing is we also discovered that in the air there was toxic levels of mold, desiccated human red blood cells were detected, lithium, which NASA has now since they've now since admitted to just spraying lithium, but also arsenic, lead, mercury, and depleted uranium.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
If that doesn't scare people to death, I don't know what could wake you up.
There's no excuse for that. You cannot excuse it away.
Right. And I'm going to say something. I live right outside of Midway Airport in Chicago. The planes fly literally when the wind is in the right direction. They literally fly over my house. I can sit right where I am right now at my desk, look outside at my backyard, and I can see the shadow of a plane going over. They're not flying over right now, but when the air current changes, they do. And You know, planes fly the same flight path. So for somebody to say, you would look up in the sky and first of all say that those are contrails. Okay, there's a big difference between contrails and chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Madison, but you know, contrails dissipate within a very short period of time, correct?
Right. We never saw persistent contrails as children or even young adults. You know, even going back, I mean, I first witnessed a chemtrail in 2005. I mean, that's a long freaking time to still be talking about this and nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse.
Right.
That's scary. But I really can only definitively state my eyes have only seen it since 2005. Where were the persistent contrails before? We've had aircraft all this time. They can't just say, and also these cloud formations that NASA's coming up with these names for. You know, when I was growing up, we had four types of clouds that we learned about in science class. That's it.
Yeah.
Now we have like 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, you look up at the sky and it's just not natural anymore.
Well, in your 5 years of studying this, Madison, have you noticed, outside of just the general degradation of society, have you noticed, I guess, the effects of chemtrails being sprayed on people? And the effect that people are waking up more to it. Have you noticed any after effects of it?
Yeah, a lot of my friends have come forward to me telling me that they have Morgellons disease, a disease I had never heard of.
Right.
You know, and all of these people, I did a show with a lady that had Morgellons, and it was a really good show. She knew all about it. And after that, you know, people kept coming forward to me telling me that they had Morgellons. That's something crazy. I mean, all these respiratory illnesses, a lot of my friends are sick right now. And, you know, they tell me it's all related to chemtrails. If you look at, like, they all have the same symptoms, you know, and a lot of my friends are getting these weird diseases like lupus and other weird, you know, other weird debilitating diseases, muscle diseases, not multiple sclerosis, but things similar to that. And, I mean, unfortunately, I am not showing any signs of anything yet, but does that mean that I don't think I'm poisoned? Hell no. You know, I live on a Superfund site, and we're sprayed every day. I compare, like, my videos and, like, my pictures and stuff to other places, and I think that they're really taking out the East and West Coast, like, the hardest right now. I don't know why it's raining here all the time, and they chemtrail here, and then in California, they chemtrail there, and it's a drought. I can't figure that one out, but, yeah, I have. I've seen a lot of my friends are sick right now, and they come on my show and talk about it. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're seeing, you know, like we just talked about, you know, the NASA admitting that they're now spraying us with lithium. I just want to give you guys a little side effects of this is just lithium. This is not anything else. This is just lithium. Causes nausea, dizziness, diarrhea, muscle weakness, fatigue, a dazed feeling, increased swelling, increased thirst. That's just lithium. That's not including, you know, what we are seeing in there. In addition to the list that I gave you before, we're also seeing mycotoxins, weaponized viruses, mutated agrobacteriums, insecticides. Like I said, the desiccated red blood cells, molds, vaccines, heavy metals. I mean, they are bombarding us literally with poisons every single day, constantly.
It's sterilization. It's forced sterilization.
Madison, did you hear the story? And I tried finding it last night, but I kind of ran out of time this morning too. There was a story that came out, I believe it was last year, where there was reports of a spraying over, it was either Norway or somewhere in Scandinavia country, where they sprayed an entire town and every woman who was pregnant aborted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, there's definitely a underlying reason, and it's not to protect us from anything, that's for sure. Now, you mentioned something in your video Have you noticed how they seem to be targeting the sun?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, seriously, you could have a clear blue day here. That's about once every 3 weeks. We'll have a clear blue day. And then at sunset, there come out complaints, lining it up right over the sun. You know, that's really strong evidence leading to that it is geoengineering. See, I don't even like using the term geoengineering. I have a ton of friends that are hardcore geoengineering activists, and I hate to piss them off when I go off on my little tirade, like, don't tell me not to use the word chemtrails, but I mean it. It's like, look, I can't prove that I know what that trail is being sprayed for. You know what I'm saying? But if you put it together and look at them blocking the sun, I mean, they are intentionally blocking the sun. Are they blocking the sun so the earth doesn't get photosynthesis? Can I go outside the box again?
No, you can go outside the box all you want, because I'm probably right there with you.
About blocking the sun, I mean, you know, I believe that, you know, we have solar power. I mean, we have the ability to, you know, have solar power that will work. We don't need oil. We don't need fossil fuels and that kind of crap. So what's to say that they are not just blocking the sun so people that are trying to use solar energy can't use it efficiently, you know, and then we're forced to have to use their oil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can look at this thing in so many different ways. I do know they're blocking out the sun, though. Most definitely.
Right. You know, like I said, there's actually a few outside of the box theories I have of my own. You know, we're seeing an increase in some anomalies around the sun, whether they're real, whether they're not, I don't know. But it just seems like with them spraying the, you know, targeting the sun and in the area around the sun, that they're giving credence to what possibly they could be hiding, or if they're hiding anything. I don't want to get into the whole, you know, Planet X thing or anything right now. That's a different show. But, you know, the possibility is there that they could be hiding something that they know is out there. It just seems weird that they're targeting the one area. Now, it could be, you know, to prevent us from photosynthesis. It could be to deplete our vitamin D. I mean, it's a number of things. Our immune system is relying on the sun. It also could be to put us into a further depression because our body goes on a rhythm between the day and the night. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for this, you know, but none of it's good. None of it's good.
Yeah, every theory you just had is something I believe it could be. That's what I'm saying. There's like 1,000 different theories about chemtrails. And us not being able to get any answers is really frustrating. When we go to these professionals, we go to, like, you know, the head of NASA or somebody actually working on these projects. And all they do is give us a runaround and try to convince us that it's contrails. You know, that is the most frustrating thing. Okay, let's pretend like it's contrails. It's just water vapor. Water itself is a chemical. Chemtrail. There you go. Okay, even if it's water, it's a chemtrail. Then water is blocking the sun. So they need to go ahead and adjust their contrails then. Any way you look at it, we know it's not water vapor. The crap that they disperse into the atmosphere does not dissipate. It expands, turns into chem clouds, and we all witness this.
We can actually... We can actually watch it go from spray to just this, you know, spreading within minutes into just this muck that blinds, that just covers our skies. Contrails don't do that. Contrails is a water vapor. It dissipates, it evaporates and disappears. Contrails do not do this. They spread their whatever chemicals they are, you know, and I have another theory for the reason. Now, I'm not, personally, I feel there's another reason for it, and that could possibly be Project Bluebeam. Mm-hmm. We all know that when you go, I don't know, we've all been to concerts where they have the laser light shows, and what do they do before they turn the lasers on? They fill the room with smoke.
Yep. Something to refract off of.
Right, and they're putting in these heavy metals into the atmosphere to reflect the possible image that they're going to use in Project Bluebeam. That is another theory that is out there. Which one is what I personally think me leaning more towards. You know, everything else, yeah, I'm 100% sure on that, but I'm also more thinking that it's going to be used for that in the long run.
I think one of the stranger things I look at.
Been brought in for questioning. He actually spoke about this on Stephen Colbert's show, and Stephen Colbert asked David Keith, do you think that you know, people could be spraying stuff in the atmosphere without us knowing about it or whatever? And he said maybe on a, you know, private scale, on a low level, whatever. So he's admitting to knowing that there's some privately funded, you know, airplane convoys going around spraying certain areas. Okay, what are those areas? Who gave them the contracts? And why? How is this legal? How can you go on national television promoting spraying sulfuric acid, shrouding the atmosphere in sulfuric acid, and not be brought in for questioning on under terrorism or something like that?
Right. I want to talk a little bit about the airplanes themselves. I've noticed a lot of them have no markings, no windows. A lot of them don't even look like airplanes. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, drones probably.
Yeah.
I actually have an article for that to show you guys.
Okay, let me pull this down. Hold on a second.
It says robots will soon control the weather. Engineers and meteorologists from Nevada have joined forces to create the first autonomous cloud seeding platform using drones to control the weather. Cloud seeding, which is a technique where small particles are dropped into a cloud from an aircraft or rocket to alter the microphysical processes going on inside and make it rain or snow. Research on the subject has been ongoing for more than a century, but it is now clear how well it actually works in reality. A cloud might produce rain after being seeded, but it's hard to know that if the cloud would have just produced rain anyway. So basically what they're doing is controlling the weather, trying to dictate when it rains, when it snows.
Cloud seeding, right? We're not concerned about cloud seeding. See how they continuously pump out these articles saying, oh, we're modifying the weather. Oh, it's cloud seeding. Oh, that's what they want you to think. Does that mean that they're not doing it? Yeah, they probably are doing that. But what we're talking about are the intentional and deliberate clandestine spraying operations.
Right. Yeah, there's a definite difference between cloud seeding, which we all know. I mean, there's no reason to put desiccated human red blood cells, mold, vaccines, lithium. I mean, none of that stuff is needed for cloud seeding.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is whenever they put out these articles and these things like that, they're trying to pacify it to say, oh yeah, no, we've been doing this. It's perfectly fine. Like in the 1950s with Project Cumulus and Project Popeye in the 60s, there's them saying, oh, well, we've been doing this perfectly fine for this long, so don't worry about it now. So it's like whenever we try to get answers about all the effects that we're seeing in the present day, they just refer us back to all these previous projects that have already happened.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm going to show you guys something again. Let me pull it up. You can deny it all you want, but the United States, just the United States government has dozens and dozens and dozens of patents on the chemtrail. And let me just pull them up. Patents, extensive list of patents. I'm just going to show this to you guys as we talk. And I'm sure, Madison, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the extensive list of patents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, that's a smoking gun if ever there was one. But of course, you know, the government, well, this is their response. Just because we have a patent doesn't mean we're using it.
Right.
I wish I could believe that.
I know, right? I really wish I could believe the government, but unfortunately, we know they're lying when their lips are moving. Okay, it's pulling up now. List of patents. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys this, and we're just going to continue talking. Sent to everyone. There we go. Okay, here we go. These list of patents, I can't even, I don't know, there's probably 50 here. Going anywhere from the 1920s straight up to modern, 2000, I believe 14, something like that. Process an apparatus for the production of intense artificial clouds, fogs, and mists. That patent 1338343 is dated April 27th, 1920.
Wow.
Yeah. 1619183, March 1st, 1927. Process of producing smoke clouds from moving aircraft. 1665267, April 10th, 1928. Process of producing artificial fog. I mean, aerial discharge devices. Process for controlling, well, here's one. 2550324, dated April 24th, 1951. Process for controlling weather.
Oh my God.
Control dispersional device. I mean, right here, method for dispersing natural atmospheric fogs and clouds, 1959. 2926360, May 30th, 1962, aerial insecticide dusting device. Now, people can say that, yeah, that's when, they started spraying our crops and stuff, but there's a difference between crop dusting and what we're seeing completely.
Mm-hmm.
December 13th, 1960, it's patent 2963975, cloud seeding carbon dioxide bullet. So I want to ask you a question. When I lived out in Phoenix, Madison, there was something that I would see that I'd never seen before, and it was being called chem bombs. Have you ever seen these or know what I'm talking about?
I know about them. I know about them. One of my friends lives in Bakersfield, and she said they have these floating, I don't know what you would call them, but these floating things out in the water, and they actually spray out chemtrails.
Right.
So it's like it's a land-based operation, and they set off these chem bombs. Yep. I also believe that there are aircraft that are preppers. These are short, they look like contrails, but they're not. And these are like shorter chemtrails. They will usually come out in fleets before the chemtrails do. So I think they're spraying something in the sky, to make the whatever else they're spraying stay. And then they use the death powers and whatever else. They got the wind powers and the heart to pump that stuff up into the clouds to suspend them in the atmosphere longer. And
Right.
of course, they do control which way they go. The thing with the lithium, I live next to, NASA. I live next to Wallops and also NASA Langley and all these other places. And, they admitted to spraying lithium. We have the video footage proving it, but they actually admitted it also. And they said it was to test the trade wind. Well, I mean, we're not giving them permission to test anything by spraying lithium into our air. So how NASA can continuously get away, plus they lied about going to the moon. That's another subject and another show entirely.
Absolutely.
But NASA is dirty, lying criminals. I mean, all of them. I can't think of an honest person in NASA I've ever spoken to. All they do is fool you and trick you and make you think that they're trying to help you, and they're not.
Crazy thing about NASA is it's Hebrew for lies.
It is Hebrew for lies, yes. Hebrew for lies and deception. If you look at the Hebrew language, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, like I said, once you start looking into these things, A goes to B, B goes to C, C goes to D. This show, I'm actually going to do a couple of different part 2, part 3 of it, because I do want to not touch on it today, but in a future show, I would like to touch on the Gwen Towers and how this all plays in together. Because I think Gwen Towers is another couple of hours show. And I do know that you, Madison, are doing your damnedest to bring people what's going on with the Gwen Towers. I've seen a lot of your videos, and you got balls, chick, okay? Just want to put that out.
I appreciate you saying that, but actually at a certain point, you stop caring. That's what happened with me. At first I would be like intimidated to touch on certain subjects. Well, when you get all into it, you realize like what you're up against. When I would call these tower places, they would tell me it's proprietary information. It didn't matter what I was asking. When the FBI came to my house, I asked them about these 3 particular towers that are in a park right over a basketball court next to the playground in my neighborhood. And they said, this towers belong to the military, and the military can do whatever they want. And I said, the military can most definitely not do whatever they want. You know, they want us to, and the addresses on the towers don't even match what they're listed as. They say they do that to protect, you know, the privacy of the location or whatever. No, they don't. Why do you think they put the numbers on the towers right up on the towers where you actually have to approach these things to get it?
Right.
Because they know no one's going to approach the towers. They're in these, you know, weird locations. You know, they're not easy to get to. They're hidden away a lot of times. You know, and then you got the hidden death towers and the church people and all the other crap. You're right. That's a 3-hour show right there.
Exactly. I enjoy watching Ron Johnson and his take on the Gwen towers and the microwaves that they're dispersing. But yeah, that's definitely, and it does. It plays right along with it plays right along with the heavy metals that are being sprayed on us. And I know somebody in the chat room mentioned earlier that they're also in the chem sprays, they are spraying us with nanobots, nanoparticles, smart dust, and we do inhale these. And you know, this is where the Bargellons is coming from. This is, you know, where most of these newfangled, I call them, diseases are coming from.
Dr. Ted Rose talks about this and how the nanobots are used there to disrupt essentially our signal, and how they transmit our information through it because of the technology that it's installed through the nanobots, and it corresponds with the aluminum that they've sprayed and how it acts on top of our skin and just basically transmits our entire signal to where we become this transceiver to where they can send signal, or a receiver to where they can send signals to us to have us behave a certain way. It's behavior modification through advanced technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're walking into it.
Right. And then this goes along with, again, the Gwen towers. And I don't know if you've seen some of my articles that I've put on the Voice of God with the Gwen towers, but you know, when the time comes, they'll be transmitting the signal for, you know, for the super soldiers, I believe, or whoever, for that mechanism to be turned on through the nanobots. So I just showed you a list of patents from 1920s down to 2003. Since we've been talking here, I've been showing you guys. I'm going to put the link up in the description box underneath the video when we're done here, underneath the show. So yeah, we are definitely being poisoned, and we can't get a straight answer as to why.
I wanted to get your opinion, Madison, on what you thought.
And the longer that people refuse to admit it or look the other way, the longer we're going to be attacked. I mean, the planet's being destroyed. And even, you know, my parents don't believe in my cause. You know, they actually ridicule me for it. And it's really difficult because my parents are so intelligent, they're wonderful people, yet, when, you know, they've made a rule. I'm not even allowed to talk about chemtrails at my parents' house. That is sad. You know, here I am trying my hardest to, like, you know, fight this uphill battle, and my own family is like, they're contrails. You know, with no research. You know, I tried to show my mom what in the world are they spraying. She was like, this is the most boring movie I've ever watched. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, how was I spawned from you people? But the truth is, our own family and friends are going to be like our hardest people to convince. But I just keep pounding away. Some people in my life that I thought would never believe me are now believers. You know, at some point, they're not going to be able to deny it anymore. We're going to, you know, so many people are going to be dropping dead from respiratory illnesses that they're not going to be able to deny it. It's just very disheartening to see our loved ones, the people that we're trying to protect the most, not believe in us, because we are telling the truth. And you know what? If we're wrong, prove to us that we're wrong. Don't just say, when I call you and tell you I've got unidentified, unmarked aircraft spraying over my house right now, I need someone to come out to my house to investigate this. Do not tell me immediately it does the contrails. You haven't identified the aircraft. You haven't tested the emission. You have no idea what I'm even talking about. How can you definitively state honestly to me that whatever I'm seeing is a contrail? That's unscientific, it is criminal, and negligent. So at the very least, when you call the cops and say, hey, I think there might be a man in my backyard creeping around, even if they're like, do you see him right now? No, I don't see him. I hear some stuff back there. The police have to come out and investigate it, whatever you're talking about. Why is it not the same case when we're talking about chemtrails?
Right, exactly. They're blindly turning, well, because, here's the thing, they're all in on it. They're all on it, what's happening, and they can't really come out. What are they going to investigate, truly? If they were to come out and investigate, they would have to admit that there's a problem, correct?
And they can't do that.
They could just say we're investigating some crazy lady that keeps calling us 5,000 times in the past couple months. We need to investigate, what she's talking about. No, they don't. The only time they ever investigated me formally in my face was when they came to my house about the death towers. They won't come out to my house. I've tried to get them to come out and do a soil sample. I was so close. I had the media involved and everything. And then in the end, the DEQ, or what's the DEQ? Yeah. The DEQ said they could not use state money to test for those materials. Okay? Why the hell not? You don't take enough money out of our taxes? We're all slaves to the system. We all slave away like animals. Yeah, and we pay our taxes. You can't spend some of that money to investigate a pollution problem? And I'm like, well, how do we know that the aluminum that you found isn't from some fugitive source? They use all these little terms, and they repetitively use them so you can get nowhere. Fugitive source, or you know who regulates aircraft emissions?
The EPA, correct? The EPA?
Wrong. Guess again. I'll just tell you. The answer is no one.
What?
No one investigates. Yes, no one investigates aircraft emissions. And all my years of calling,
wow.
Name one. The only agency I've never called is the CIA, and I know that they can't help me, and they wouldn't even if they could. So that's the only reason why I steer clear from them. I don't borrow trouble. I call enough people, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that, no. Everybody has passed me off to the next person saying that they do not investigate. DEQ doesn't investigate local sources. The Clean Air Act itself has absolutely nothing to do with airplanes. It lists every kind of emission you can possibly imagine except for airplanes.
The FAA doesn't investigate it either? They just tell you to...
Nope. The FAA, nope. After all my years of calling and talking to the head of Washington, D.C.'s office, the FAA, a man who works on the ARM program, aerosol research, actually works on chemtrails, they have all stated to me that they do not investigate airplane pollution. I have it in writing, and I will post that when we get off of this. I'll go ahead and repost the email that was sent to me by the FAA after, they kept telling me on all these live calls that I would do. They knew they were being recorded. And they're like, you're just trying to sound good on your radio show and all this. I'm like, no, I just want you guys to help me. I need you to help. Well, go ahead and send me all your questions and an email and doing all this bullshit. I finally just complied again for the millionth time because I faxed them so much stuff. Like, they're busted. I have a paper trail leading to the FAA, EPA, all the feds. Like, they cannot escape that. But, yeah, he sent me an email back stating, I'm sorry, the FAA does not investigate any aircraft emissions. And the EPA has me blacklisted. That's a crime. They will not answer my phone calls. If by some chance I call from somebody else's phone and they pick up, I ask to speak to, and as soon as they hear my voice, they go, 1 moment, and then they put on music and hang up on me.
Oh my.
Yep.
Wow.
Holy
years of this.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about that.
That's why I always pissed off. I'm always mad. I'm always enraged at what is being perpetrated. And, we have to be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. We cannot just be like, oh, I give up. You're right. The feds are not going to do anything. My friends will be like, oh, you're just wasting your time. How am I wasting my time? I'm exposing these fools. They are not helping us. Therefore, they are guilty of omission. You guys need to Google omission. Failure to act. Google common law. And what the Constitution states our rights are. They're trying to take away our constitutional rights. I mean, they are not trying. They are breaking constitutional law.
Absolutely. And we've seen since January, since what happened in Oregon, we have seen that as independent journalists, anything we post on our Facebook or anything we put out on YouTube can and will be held against us in a court of law. We are seeing this. We truly are. Pete Santilli being in jail for just reporting is our prime example. We no longer, as independent journalists, have a First Amendment right. It's gone.
Yep.
I still use mine, whether it's gone or not. Like, if they, honestly, the worst mistake they could make would be to pick me up for trying to get help on this issue, because all it would do is, skyrocket my message.
Absolutely.
And I think they know that. Certain people they'll stay away from because they don't want to ruffle them up, because they know, oh, this person's being watched by other people. If we do something too shady, it'll be too obvious. They have to wait for me to commit a real crime, and then try to come after me like that. That's the only way. And then they did hem up my friend Chris Dorsey. Chris Dorsey is this awesome activist from Richmond, and he went up against all kinds of people. I mean, the Secret Service. Secret Service came to his house to investigate him. I've never seen anybody school somebody so hard as what he not only made them leave, they left with their tail between their legs. And I was like, good for him. But weeks or months later, he was arrested, beaten up by the police. They stole his camera with his video footage, did all this criminal stuff to him. And he would be like my example of, the darker side of activism, what can happen to you. But it's not going to stop me. Like, that's what my point to everybody would be. Don't be afraid, even though if you do hear a story like that or you see something like that go down with one of your friends, as long as you don't break the law, honestly, they can't do anything to you. And if they do, it's a crime. And just, I've already arranged, like, if I ever get locked up for my activism, I'll just write my memoirs and wake everybody up in the prison that's with me or whatever until I get out.
There you go.
Know what I'm saying? I'll do a radio show from the prison phone or something like. There's nothing in my mind. There's like nothing that's going to stop me from spreading this message.
And that's important because I feel whenever you look at all this stuff, what you're doing is exactly what more people need to do. Having the voice, using their voice for something good, and finding a topic or something that's important to them and helping expose it. Because I didn't even know that there wasn't any legal department that took care of plane emissions. I didn't know that, but through your own research and then providing it to people like myself and Lori, you've now helped expand the wealth of information for everybody, so we can all start making the right and proper choices for a better life. That's why it's important that we come together, that we have these shows and we talk about these issues.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah, I just don't want anybody to take my word for it. Don't take my word for anything. If you are concerned about the aircraft emissions in your area, call your local authorities, call the feds, call the police, call the White House, whoever you want to call, and you will find that you will get nothing. You'll get no answers. You'll get no help. And then you will see for yourself what the government is really doing for you. They're covering this up. Period.
Wow.
And that's compliancy to some degree.
Absolutely. So what can we as just, ordinary people, what can we do to draw attention and to get this message out there to other people and wake them up? Obviously we can't call the authorities because they're not going to do anything. So, what can we do to fight this? Is there anything that we can do?
Make a paper trail. You need to make a paper trail. You need to record everything. Any conversations you have concerning chemtrails with any, someone that's involved with it or whatever government, you need to record everything. You need to have a paper trail. You need to file your formal complaints. Whether they respond to them or not is another story, but at least you have that paper trail. The thing that I found is the hardest thing to do is grassroots activism, going up to random strangers when they're spraying and telling them what it is. Because most of the time they don't know about chemtrails, or they're going to make fun of you, or you're going to get, whatever. I do it all the time, but I have to make myself do it because it's embarrassing. and it's hard because you don't know what their reaction is going to be. You don't want to shatter someone's reality. You know, if you see like a mom with her 2 kids and they're out at the grocery store, you really want to tell them, but you don't want to scare the kids and you don't want the lady to freak out. You know, so it's like hard to pick and choose who you tell.
Yeah.
But I would say that is probably going to be our most effective weapon is word of mouth.
Yeah, I know there's been times that I've been, you know, walking in the park or something, and you know, I've just looked up at the sky and just randomly been like, "Do you see that? Look what they're doing to us. Do you see what they're spraying chemicals on us?" You know,
it's a great topic to lead in with because a lot of people don't know the contents of actual chemtrails other than the barium, the aluminum, and the strontium. But then it's a great window topic to start talking about all the other things that are going on, like Agenda 2030, depopulation, dehumanization, fluoride in the water, and how all of it really does just tie in. But it takes coming out of that shell and taking that first stance to be like, hey, there is something strange going on. We need to talk about it. And when we do that, it opens the door for so much more.
you know what's sad is I've noticed a lot of even TV commercials or children's books now have implemented the chemtrails in the background in the skies to make it look like it's warm.
Yep.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
It's
television shows, commercials, everything, the internet.
Yeah.
It's chemtrail central.
Yeah.
You know, you wonder, do they not avoid it at this point because everywhere's so chemtrails? Or is it just promoted? I know the media promotes it. Any Hollywood movie, you know, I don't even like going to the movies anymore. Honestly, the entire time I go there, I'm like the worst critic ever.
Oh my
because
God.
I know what they're trying to perpetrate.
I've actually been thrown out of a theater because I was like, did you guys just see that? Did you see that? I'm terrible. My ex-husband refused to take me to any more shows. He's like, I can't take you anywhere. He's like, what? I said, because I see things now. It's hard to not see. I see the numbers. I see the subliminals. I see the, I see it all. And it's just like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I'm not taking you anymore. I'm not taking you to the show anymore. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I don't care. Even watching like the Academy Awards or watching the music awards or watching
symbolism.
Yeah. It is.
I wanted to get your opinion real quick, Madison, on what you thought of climate change, because I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and I understand why, because it's all a hoax. I mean, they've fudged the numbers for years. It's clearly a hoax, but I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it from a chemtrails point of view and I guess a depopulation point of view.
Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, I don't give it any attention at all. I believe it's the throw-off game, like what you said. They want us to believe that the earth is warming at this massive rate so they can have an excuse to say that they're spraying to do whatever. I don't give it any type of merit at all. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. I mean, I really don't care. I would rather die from, a natural cause than to have my life, shortened with these poisons how are they going to save the planet by killing everybody on it? If the poison that they're spraying is hurting us, but it's somehow saving the planet, well, it's still not good. You would have to come up with something that doesn't harm us. I did see a good geoengineering idea. It was like boats that were spraying salt and something or whatever, salt water into the atmosphere to help something or whatever. And I was thinking, that sounds like a safe, viable solution or something like that. But there is no excuse, whether we're burning up or not, to spray all this stuff to kill us faster. I mean, we're not going to make it through this. So I guess my final opinion would be, I don't care if it's warming or not. I think it's more detrimental to spray the stuff.
Right.
In front of me, I have a picture where it says warning, chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer or birth defects or other reproductive harm may be present in foods or beverages sold here or served here. And I feel like the fact that they have to put a warning up just shows you that they already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was out of McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. I remember that.
I think that's just crazy that,
up on the screen, I have a picture. This is what I tell people when they say to me, I don't know if you guys can see it here. It's got the squiggly lines on it of chemtrails. And people are always saying to me, oh, those are contrails. Those are contrails. Don't worry about it. You're crazy, whatever. And I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that those are ordinary contrails from ordinary planes. Now we've got a whole new situation we need to look at, because now we've got a whole sky full of drunk pilots.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
Yeah, so
I didn't think you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say something else. Good one.
I mean, now we've got a whole other can of worms we need to open up and address. Okay, I want to ask you about the new something that has just come up recently. They're the black chemtrails.
Oh yeah.
Now,
yeah, I've seen them. I've seen black chemtrails.
They're carbon, right?
I don't know what they are, but you can see. I've seen a black chemtrail being sprayed right next to a white chemtrail at the same time. I showed my grandma, and she said, "I've never seen anything like that." My grandma's probably like the person that believes in chemtrails the least out of anybody in my family, but she definitely saw it and acknowledged it. So it had nothing to do with, I have videos of black chemtrails, and people will tell me, no, that's just the sun reflecting off of it at that certain time. Well, you can't debunk when you have two of them next to each other, one's white and one's black.
Right, exactly. And I did do a little bit of research on it. I didn't find a lot of information on them, but they were saying that some of them are carbon chaff or carbon. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that doesn't make any sense, because isn't the increase in carbon what's supposedly causing the global warming? Why would they be spraying us with carbon particles if they're trying to, fight global warming?
Right. Like in the 80s when they told us not to use aerosol hairspray because aerosol itself depleted the ozone. Now we spray as much aerosol as we possibly can, as close to the ozone as we can. What happened?
Exactly. What happened? What happened?
We let these technocrats get into power and start trying to experiment on us with their behavioral sciences.
Exactly.
It's like right here, I have an executive order from September 2015 where it says using behavioral science insights to better serve the American people. And Obama signed this, where he's pretty much saying that he's allowing public experiments to be conducted on the American people. I mean, we already knew this, but it's just the fact that it's being put out.
We should have a right to decide what's best for us as human beings. Right. I mean, we should be able to decide, do I want to be exposed to aluminum, barium, whatever, arsenic, lead, mercury. I mean, I should have a right to decide with my body what poisons I want to put into it. It's not up to the government.
Yeah. They say your silence is your consent, but when we call these agencies and ask them directly about these operations and they lie to us, it's no longer our consent. We are actually informing them of these crimes, and they're telling us that it's nothing. Well, now you're committing a crime against humanity. These are war crimes. These people need to be in jail.
Absolutely.
The pilots, the people in the military that are doing the special ops or CIA or whoever the hell is responsible for this. And a lot of people say it's the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, or, the Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, who knows really who's pulling the strings? But they've been informed. You know what I'm saying? You Google chemtrails, a bajillion things pop up. It's not like this is some secret thing anymore. Mm-hmm. We know what's going on. We have to hold these people accountable. That's the big question now. Where do we go from here? Everybody's trying so hard. I admire. I'm a follower of so many people that have been doing it for years and years and decades, fighting this battle. And it's really sad to see, honestly, that the masses are not waking up faster. We are running out of time. That's a fact.
Absolutely, we are. We are definitely running out of time. With the push now for the GMOs, our water, God, I mean, more and more every day we're seeing more and more cities concerned about their water quality. We're being bombarded in every possible direction. Our food, our water, now our air. and it's all supposedly in the name of environmental safety, you know, saving our environment, saving our planet, when in reality it's killing. You know, what good is it if we save our planet but we've killed the inhabitants in the meantime, in the process? You know, so we have this beautiful planet Earth that nobody lives on. There's no plants, there's no humans. I mean, you know, what good is that doing? You know, it just...
Yeah, the animal the animals are dying. I know you guys have seen a bird decline in your area, a bee decline, of course. But I mean, you look at all these mass animal die-offs. We're losing our entire animal species. I don't know how many are dying a day or a week. I do know you can find the statistics online, but it is incredible. Look at the starfish die-off that happened.
Absolutely.
You know, the Pacific is dead from Fukushima. Right. 80% of the Pacific is dead. Is that not shocking enough for you guys to do something? Are you guys still eating tuna fish and thinking it's okay?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've stopped.
Oh, no way.
No. And here's the thing is, you know, the United States has shut off or recalibrated all of our radiation detectors. We are now seeing, as far away as Miami, we are seeing radioactive elevations in milk. So this isn't just a West Coast problem. This is an entire country, United States. This is global.
It's a global issue.
The Pacific Ocean isn't, the water in the Pacific Ocean isn't just capsulized in the Pacific Ocean. Our water, our entire ecosystem is worldwide. That is the blood, our oceans are the blood flow of our planet, and they move all around. And it, you know, so this radiation is still being pumped in there. Don't think that just because you don't hear it on the news that it's been taken care of and it's been concealed and we don't have it anymore, because it, you know, 300,000 gallons of radioactive water are pumped into the Pacific Ocean every single day, and it has been nonstop since Fukushima happened. And there's no shut-off date for this. It's going to continue.
But you can see some of the fish that come from Fukushima. They're all irradiated. They have deformities, or they look disgusting. Yeah, they look disgusting. And now all that radiation is mixing in with the waters and coming towards, well, not towards just America, but it's spreading around the whole entire globe.
Right.
And the half-life of all this and the epigenic disasters that it's going to create, I mean, people aren't really taking a look at that. We're not understanding the after effects that all this radiation and all this genetic modification is going to have on generations to come.
Right. And, you know, we all learned in school the water cycle. You know, the water cycle, it picks up the water off the oceans and it carries it in the clouds over the land and it drops it as rain. So all that radioactive water is being pushed up into our clouds, being carried across and being dropped as rain. So not only do we have them, you know, creating cloud systems, but we also have it so that they're dropping it. And I think they're dropping it in predetermined areas. Because if you notice, I don't know if you've noticed this, Madison, but it seems like they're spraying, well, you did mention it at the top of the show, it seems like they're spraying more in more populated areas.
Yeah, I knew that. Yep. That's true. Because I have a friend that lives next to a city, and he said that he will see some chemtrails over like where he lives, but when he goes to the city, like the same day, they're covered. You know, so yeah, they are. And what about in other countries? I had a friend that recently went to Morocco. He stayed there for like 2 months, and he took pictures of the sky every day, videos and all this. There wasn't any chemtrails. There were not any chemtrails. Okay, he came back here and he goes, "Oh my God, you were right." He said there's no chemtrails in Morocco, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And yeah, I'm not going to say that they don't spray in Morocco, but I'm saying that just from what he showed me, there were no chemtrails. And then he comes back here to the shithole Virginia Beach, which is like the most sprayed area that I know of, and he is a believer now. He was one of the ones that would make fun of me. Now him and his friends are, after I do my EPA hearing, they're like playing it on a big screen and just being like so supportive and like, "Oh, thank you so much," or something. Yeah, right. You guys made fun of me like 3 years ago. I remember you guys dogging me out about this. But I'm just like thankful that at least, other people can get it at some point.
Absolutely.
You got to get it at some point. I mean, we're not talking out of our asses here. We have all the scientific, facts to back up what we're saying. The only people that are debunking chemtrails now are government-paid shills, haters, sheeple, and trolls. That's it.
Absolutely.
I mean, which one are you? If you don't believe this, you're either totally unresearched, ill-informed, and you haven't taken the time to actually look into this issue. And that's what really annoys me. Some of the people that want to fight you the hardest on this are people that have done absolutely no research.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree. I completely agree on that, because I mean, there's no gray area on this. Either you see it or you don't. And if you don't by now, there's a reason why you're not seeing it. There's a reason why you're not speaking out against it, because it's right in our faces. You can't go anywhere. Any of us over the age of 10 years old knows the difference between real clouds and what we're seeing now. So.
They don't know. And I got in trouble for, it's echo time. Sorry, it went away. I got in trouble for telling my niece, about certain things. I didn't tell her, oh, they're telling us a genocide. When we were on a walk one day, and I saw a chemtrail with spoilers, and I gasped. I went, and all this. I didn't say a word to her, but she came in and told my mom, the bad men are spraying in the sky, and all this. And I got in all this trouble. I was like, gosh. All I did was react to what was going on. But they want me to be, fit into their little thing and just don't say anything now. I'm sorry. Right. I don't fit in anywhere. I will not. I will say what the hell is the truth, and I don't need anybody's approval to do it.
Absolutely. Amen to that. That's exactly the way I feel. Right. If I'm silent on something, that means that I'm promoting it, that I'm okay with it, and I'm not okay with any of this.
Yep.
I'm not okay with any
Never will be. So we keep on pushing through. I want to take an opportunity to talk about the Vancouver conference.
Absolutely.
If we can, real quickly.
No, absolutely.
It's going to be on this. Yeah, it's going to be on May 7th, and I'm speaking with a bunch of amazing activists. And it's in Vancouver, Canada. I do have a GoFundMe up. I need a little bit more money to be able to get there. I have like $1,200 right now, but I am flying from Virginia Beach to Vancouver, and I'm going to stay there for 2 days. So I'm just going to need the money for the airfare and whatever. And I'm going to pull from everywhere. So whether or not, I get any more money on the GoFundMe, it's not going to stop me. But I just want everybody, if you can pitch in something, to try to help me get there, because I am going to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about chemtrails. I'm not going to double talk. I'm not going to sugarcoat or be politically correct in any way.
Absolutely. What if you could send me the link to that, and I will put it in the description portion underneath this video also, and I will share it on my Facebook pages and in my communities. And
it's called the MadisonStar Moon Chemtrail Fund on GoFundMe.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll pull that up.
Cool. Well, I really
I'm really looking forward. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's just going to be the next big opportunity that we all have to speak out, and then it'll be archived on the internet.
Awesome.
And it's just one more thing that they can't escape. We're talking about this publicly. It's not a secret anymore. Stop covering it up.
Amen. I want to thank you for joining us today, Madison. It has been a great pleasure, and I would like to invite you back to speak with us on some further topics in the future, because, like I said, this is not just a one show topic. It goes into so many more. I'd love to talk to you on the Gwen towers, on the microwave towers. I know that our viewers are very awake to that and would like some information on that also.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you, Lori, so much for having me on. I appreciate you giving me this platform to speak so candidly about things that I find that are so important. You guys are totally awake and aware, and your show is amazing. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Thank you. Any final thoughts, factions?
Other than having you on to talk about a handful of other stuff, like the Gwen Towers, weather modification, HARP, I don't have anything right now.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for calling into the show. I know that everybody in the chat room has definitely, you've opened up our eyes to a lot of things, and I want to thank you.
All righty, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks again.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Have a great one, Madison.
Bye. Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely learned a lot.
I know she, you know, it's one thing to actually look up in the sky and, you know, see these things, but it's another thing to actually have it validated, you know. You know, she's been somebody that I've been watching her videos for a while. Again, that's MadisonStar Moon here on YouTube. Great activist, great truther. She's got, man, I want to be like her when I grow up. I truly want to be like her when I grow up.
I think a MadisonStar Moon and a Lori Alexander show would be way too much.
Shucks, stop it. Oh, absolutely not. I want to thank you for joining me today. You know, you always are a pleasure to work with, and your knowledge on everything. It doesn't matter what I talk to or talk about. You're right there with me. You're right on the same page, and I want to thank you for that. I truly do.
Was I talking enough? It felt like I was kind of quiet.
No, I mean, I was quiet too. I was just enjoying listening to her talk and tell us everything, you know.
Right.
Like I said, this is just, you know, because we are a new show, it's going to take us a while. You know, the shows that I'm putting out right now are kind of like part ones of a lot of things that I want to do. We're going to be definitely, this will be probably a series. Like I said, I want to get into the HARP. I want to get into the Gwen towers, the microwave towers. I want to get into smart meters. I want to get into what Wi-Fi. I want to get into all of that stuff because I think it's very important right now because they are using our technology that they're giving us, that they're telling us is going to make our lives better. They're using that to kill us right now. Smartphones, computers. I mean, we're talking video games. We're talking everything. I
agree. Everything she was saying in this video or in this interview, it's definitely like stuff I wanted to use from my Building the Matrix series, because like you said, like the technology and the stuff they're giving us now, it's not to enlighten us. It's not to uplift us to a greater spiritual awakening. It's to imprison us. It's the LED lights. They burn our retinas. We're walking around with a pocket stick of radiation, you see. Like we do need to talk about these things, and I feel like right now, because of how crazy everything is, it's the perfect time. People are hungry for this kind of information.
Absolutely, and I want to, you know, everybody in the chat room, you guys are great because we're all awake to this. We're all hip to their lives, and you know, it's good because we're definitely we're gonna start doing some different shows and getting you all. Like I said, there was no call in today because Madison did call in on the call in line. But in the future, hopefully we can get her on with Hangouts with us so we can use that call in line to get you guys all involved.
I do want to get her thoughts on what she thinks about the coming false, the Great Deception, the coming false second coming of Christ. I want to see what she thinks about that because, I mean, when you look at it, all this metal that they're spraying in the air, it makes sense that they would need something to project a hologram off of with Project Bluebeam. You know,
exactly. And that's going to be another show that we're gonna openly discuss because yes, I mean, this is definitely, we all, like I said, we've all gone to concerts in our lives, and we've all seen the laser light show, and the first thing they do before they turn the lasers on is fill the auditorium with smoke. And this is exactly what they're doing on an atmospheric level. They're filling up the atmosphere with these particles, so when the time comes that they can project the images, they definitely, that's what they're going to do. It's definitely part of it. I'm not saying it's all of it, but it's a part of it. On the screen right now, if you can see it, talking about Bluebeam, this is a picture of over in I can't remember where it was now. You might be able to help me.
This is the floating city. I remember. Was it Taiwan?
Taiwan, China, somewhere. I think it was China, where they found, it was two incidences in the past little while, few months, where there's been, I mean, things that you can't explain up in our skies. And I think this is just a precursor to you know, Bluebeam. They're testing us. They're setting us up. Here's another picture, kind of a close up of it. You know, so we're going to be seeing a lot of things. What is the movie? what was the movie? It's a Wonderful Life, when he says, you're going to see a lot of strange things from now on.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's why like I let in with the whole idea that I thought of it as being terraformed. That's the only thing I could think of with how consistent they're spraying everything, with what they're spraying, and just how there's like literally no explanation for it. Terraforming is the only thing I can think of, because that's what this is. This doesn't benefit humans. This is it advances somebody else. It's just, it's crazy, because I think like, and this is just my own personal theory. You know, I think, and I've shared a little bit of it with you. Whenever they have these genetically modified human animal chimera creatures come in, and then they have souls essentially enter these constructs. Well, these constructs are going to have to breathe and interact in our three-dimensional space. And
Right.
with what they're doing now, the chemtrails and essentially the terraforming, as I would call it, they're giving an environment for these alien creatures to habitate.
You're absolutely right. This is another, like I said, there's such a broad spectrum on what these chemicals are for. You're absolutely right. I do believe they are terraforming. If you look at the bloodlines, if you look in my research, I found that a lot of these chemicals, all of these chemtrails are actually, and this is factual, they are DNA specific, meaning they target certain people with certain blood types. The people with Rh negative, and this is going to be another show, people with Rh negative blood type are not carbon-based individuals. They are copper-based. So what they're doing is they're terraforming to better support that life form rather than carbon-based, which is what we are. And this is something that you guys can research. Just Google Rh negative and chemtrails, Rh negative blood and chemtrails. Go ahead and do that, and you'll be surprised at what you find. But yes, it is terraforming. Absolutely. It's
just so crazy that like how all of this just encompasses literally everything. I even think to the degree, like, with them spraying all of this stuff, we constantly hear how there's a dimension shift, or there's multiple dimensions collapsing on each other. Well, what if this is what they're doing? They're spraying these chemicals, they're spraying, messing with our ozone, our stratosphere, and our entire space-time orientation to bring us down to this three-dimensional world, instead of letting us expand and grow into more multidimensional beings. I feel like with what they're doing, they're literally putting a lock on the planetary grid with this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and I think this totally goes along with the depopulation agenda. Maintaining a population under 500 million. I mean, this completely goes along with it. Terraforming. Who are the 500 million that will be left? Are they going to be the copper-based beings, or are they going to, it's just, if you look at it, it's scary, because it's happening right in front of our faces.
It is. I mean, that's why you got people putting up videos every other day, or back whenever winter was here, people putting up videos of snow when people took a lighter to it, and it wouldn't burn.
I just showed that, actually. Let's go back. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that snow. That is a piece of snow that is burning, not melting, but burning, because of the plastics, because of the chemical. It's a chemical. That's not natural snow. Do not, people, please, friends, I love you all. You know this. Please do not let your dogs, cats, children, whatever, do not eat the snow. Do not eat the snow. And I'm not just saying don't eat the yellow snow. I'm saying don't eat any of the snow, okay? Because it is poisonous. And I talked about this on another one of my shows with organic foods. You may think that you are buying organic foods where you're immune to all of this stuff being sprayed on there. There's no pesticides, there's no anything. Here's the thing, if your food is grown outside, your food is contaminated.
Yep.
There is no such thing as organic foods unless it is grown in a greenhouse and it is irrigated with with treated water.
I wanted to, just for the record, I wanted to talk about this while we still had Madison on, but it's kind of just remedies, just detox things that we can, just simple things we can do to kind of start helping combat some of this stuff.
Yes, I do have somebody that's going to be coming on the show here in the future that's going to be actually talking about the chemtrail
detox.
Yeah, chemtrail detox. I'm trying to get past little pictures. I thought I had bigger pictures here. But anyways, I just want to, before we close here, I just want to take a brief minute, first of all, to thank everybody. You know how much I love each and every one of you. And I just want to make a pledge to you all and I know I don't have to say this, but I know I kind of need to, but I want to make a pledge to you, the viewers, that I am going to be providing you with the best quality information that I can. And if you come to my show, there will be no drama. There will be no feeding the trolls.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be no surprises here. I take what I do very seriously. This isn't a clown sideshow, and it won't be treated as such. So I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic.
I appreciate you definitely for having me on and for being a part of the family and being able to talk to people in the chat room. That is super cool. That is super cool. Absolutely.
Thank you, sweetheart, for coming on. Again, I want to thank everybody. And we will be back on, I'm not sure about tomorrow. I think I might be taking these next few days off. I've gone through a lot in the last few days, and I think I just need to regroup and figure out where I go from here. The show is not going to be ending by any chance, by any means, because I love each and every one of you. But I want to make sure that when I come back that I am 100%, my mind is back on what I'm meant to do, what my job is, as far as I'm concerned, is my job. So I'm going to take probably tomorrow off. I'm going to take the week off. I won't be around too much. I'm going to leave with Dave and go out on the road this next week. But I will be back next Saturday. I'm going to be doing a revamping of this show, and we'll have some big announcements next Saturday when we come on at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Saturday. So
big things.
Big things, big things. Thank you so much, Factions. I love you. I want to thank you for coming on. And until next time, stay strong, stay informed, and we love you all. Peace out, my friends. Bye-bye.
Expose lies and share truth. Out.
Out.